Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. As I was going through the Instagram, I found this sweater and I thought of trying to make it. So this is the same sweater, red and yellow in color. I really loved the sleeves, the bubble sleeves of this sweater. So this is the sweater that I made. The only difference or the mistake that I made is that I never made the sleeve a bit baggy. So if you want your sweater to look more cute, just make the sleeve a bit baggy. Following are the requirement to make this sweater. So you require a measuring tape. I'll be using a 3.5mm hook. So this is a 3.5mm hook. You also require a yarn. So this is a robin yarn and it's a 50-gram weight yarn and it's white in color. So for the sweater, I used a purple color yarn, but it has the same weight with this one. So I ran out of the purple color yarn, so I had to use this one so that I can guide you. So after that, let's get into it. First thing, to make this sweater, take the measurement of your waist. So my waist is at 28 inches. So just take the measurement of your waist. My waist is at 28 inches. After taking the measurement of your waist, divide the waist by 2. So after dividing my 28 inches by 2, it will give me 14 inches. Then after that, you'll add 4 more inches. So you'll be crocheting. I'll be crocheting a width of 18 inches. So this is how wide the back panel should be. So the back panel should be at 18 inches wide, and also the front panel should be at 18 inches wide. So for example, if your waist size is at 26 inches, you will take a half of that. So half of 26 inches is at 13 inches. So after adding 4 inches at this 13, you'll get a 17 inches. You'll get 17 inches. So that how wide your back panel and front panel should be. So that is it. So first thing, take the measurement of your waist, divide it by 2, then add 4 inches. So the reason why you are adding 4 inches is that this is to make your sweater more wide. The sweater should be a bit baggy, so add 4 inches, and if you would like, you can add more inches, but I would advise you to add 4 inches so that the sweater can be a bit baggy. So to make this sweater, we first begin by making the sleeves for this sweater. So to make the sleeve, you just make a slip stitch. No, you just make a slip knot. So just make a slip knot, then after that insert the hook on that big loop over there, then tighten the yarn. So after making the slip knot, we'll be chaining 115 stitches. So chain 115 stitches, then after that I'll be there to show you what to do next. Completed chaining my 115 stitch. So after chaining the 115 stitch, you will add one more stitch. So just add one more stitch over here. Then after that, we'll be making slip stitch. So onto the first 15 stitches, we'll be making slip stitch. So skip this first stitch over here. So we'll skip this first stitch over here. Then after that, we'll slip stitch onto the next 15 stitches. So to slip stitch, just insert the hook, then pull through the yarn, then after that yarn over the loop. So that is my first slip stitch. So we'll be making 14 more. So this is my second slip stitch. So I'll just pull through the yarn, then after that I'll be yarning over. So that is my second slip stitch. So to make this slip stitch, ensure that they are a bit loose so that they can't give you some headache. So let's do a third slip stitch. So insert the hook, pull through the yarn, then after that yarn over, insert the hook, pull through the yarn, then after that yarn over. So these are 4 slip stitch. So you will repeat them until you have 15 slip stitch. So I'm going to make 11 more stitches, then after that I'll be there to show you what to do next. So I've completed making 15 slip stitch. So you are going to make 20 half double crochets. So let's make 20 half double crochet. So just yarn over, insert the hook onto this next stitch over here, then after that pull through the yarn, then after that yarn over all the 3 loops at the same time. So yarn over, insert the hook onto the next stitch, pull through the yarn, then after that you should have 3 loops on your hook, then after that yarn over all the 3 loops on your hook. So just yarn over, then insert the hook onto the next stitch, pull through the yarn. You should have 3 loops on your hook, then after that yarn over all the 3 loops on your hook. So we have made 3 half double crochets, so you are going to make 17 more. Then after that I'll be there to show you what to do next. I've completed making my 20 half double crochets. So after making the 20 half double crochets, we are going to slip stitch onto the next 5 stitches. So this is my first stitch where I'm going to make a slip stitch first. This is a second stitch where I'm going to make a slip stitch. This is a third stitch where I'm going to make a slip stitch. This is a fourth stitch where I'm going to make a slip stitch. And this is the last stitch where I'm going to make a slip stitch. So I've made 5 slip stitch. So after making the 5 slip stitch, we are going to make another 20 half double crochet. So this is the first stitch where I'm going to make a half double crochet, second. So repeat this until you make 20 half double crochets. Then after that I'll be here to guide you on what to do next. I've completed making another 20 half double crochet. So remember we made 15 slip stitch over here, then after that we made 20 half double crochets over here, then after that we made 5 slip stitch on the 5 stitches over here. Then after that I've completed making this 20 half double crochets on this side. So after that I'm going to make 5 more slip stitch onto the next 5 stitches. Ensure the slip stitch are a bit loose. So I've completed making the 5 slip stitch. So I'm going to repeat 20 half double crochets onto the next 20 stitches. Then after that I'll be here to guide you on what to do next, and to tell you the reason why we are adding the slip stitch between the 20 half double crochets. So I've completed making another 20 half double crochet. So the next 5 stitches will be making the slip stitch. So after making the 5 slip stitch, we are going to place half double crochet onto the rest of the stitches, and I'm sure the rest of the stitches are 25 in number. So after that make half double crochet onto the rest of the stitches. Then after that I'll be there to show you how to end and to start a new row. So after completing the first row, this is how the pattern looks. So remember we started the pattern with 15 slip stitch. Then after that we made 20 half double crochets. After making the 20 half double crochets, we made the 5 slip stitch. Then we made 20 half double crochets. Then we made 5 slip stitch. Then we made 20 half double crochets. Then after that we made 5 slip stitch. Then lastly we made 25 half double crochet. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. You should have 4 set of 20 half double crochet. So to start a new row, we are going to chain 2. So just chain 2 and turn your work around. So after turning your work around, you just yarn over onto this first stitch over here. We are going to place a half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches. So we are going to place the half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches. So repeat placing the half double crochets on the back loops of the previous stitches. So this is the back loop. this one over here. So just place a half double crochet on it. So repeat this until you reach onto where you have completed making the half double crochet over here. Then after that, I'll be here to guide you what to do next. So I've completed making I've completed making 20 half double crochets on the back loops of the previous half double crochet. So after that, you are going to place slip stitch onto the back loops of the previous slip stitch. So this is the back loop of the slip stitch over here. So mine is a bit difficult to place a slip stitch. I think I tightened them. So place 5 slip stitch onto the next slip stitch, onto the next 5 slip stitch. So remember you are placing them onto the back loops of the previous slip stitch. So that is my second slip stitch, and this is my third slip stitch. Ensure that they are a bit loose. So this is my fourth slip stitch. Then this is my last slip stitch over here. So after that, we are going to place half double crochets on the rest, or we are going to place half double crochets on the back loops of the next 20 half double crochets. Then after that, I will be here when you reach on this slip stitch. I'll be there to guide you again. I've completed making the other 20 half double crochet on the back loops of the previous half double crochet. So onto this next 5 slip stitch, you are going to place slip stitch onto their back loops. So just place a slip stitch on where a slip stitch was, and just place a half double crochet on the back loops of where the last half double crochet was. So ensure the slip stitch are a bit loose so that it can be easy for you to place a slip stitch on their back loops. So I've completed making the 5 slip stitch onto the previous back loops of the other slip stitch. So onto the rest of the stitches. So remember here we made 20 half double crochet. We'll be placing 20 half double crochets on the back loops of this 20 half double crochet over here. In simple, what you'll be doing is just place a half double crochet where there was a previous half double crochet, and remember that you'll be placing them on the back loops of the previous stitches, and also you'll be placing a slip stitch where a slip stitch belong. So where a slip stitch belong is where you had made a previous slip stitch. So remember you'll be placing them on the back loops of the previous stitches. So for example, here we have made 5 slip stitch on the back loops of the previous slip stitch. Then here we are going to make 20 half double crochets on the previous 20 half double crochets, and remember you'll be placing them on the back loops of the previous stitches. So repeat that until you complete this row. Remember here we'll be placing 15 slip stitch on the back loops of this previous slip stitch. So repeat that until you complete this row. Then after that, I'll be there to guide you on what to do next. I'm remaining with 2 stitches so as to complete this row. So I'm going to place a slip stitch onto this second last stitch over here. So it seems like I tightened the previous slip stitch. So I'm going to place a slip stitch onto that stitch over here. Then also I'm going to place a slip stitch onto this last stitch over here. Then after that, chain 1, turn your work around. You are going to skip the first stitch. So this is the stitch that's holding the hook. So the stitch that is holding the hook is this stitch over here. Then after that, I'm going to place half double crochet. I'm going to place a slip stitch onto this first stitch over here. So this is the first stitch which I'm telling you about. So place a slip stitch over here. So don't skip any stitch while making this slip stitch. So just place a slip stitch onto this first stitch over here. Then also place a slip stitch onto the next 15 stitches, onto the next 14 stitches. So remember that on the slip stitch, you'll be making a slip stitch. Onto the half double crochet, you'll be making half double crochet. So remember, we'll be placing the stitches on the back loops of the previous stitches. So repeat that pattern until you complete this row. Then after that, I'll be guiding you on what to do next. Completed making the first 3 rows of the sleeve, and I have something like this. Also, you should have something like this. So the reason why we added the 5 slip stitch after every 20 half double crochet is to give you a bubble like structure. You can see the pattern is starting to pop out, so ensure that you make the sleeve a bit wide. So make it as wide as possible so that it can give you a clear image of this pattern. If you make the sleeve a bit narrow, it won't give you a clear image of this pattern. So make it a bit wide and a bit baggy. So ensure that your sleeve are a bit baggy. Ensure that they are not fitting you, they are more baggy than your arms. So repeat that until you achieve a baggy sleeve. Then after that, I'll be there to show you how to make the back panel and the front panel. So to make this sleeve is a bit simple, so it's not complicated. So just tune in and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So this is how my first sleeve looks. So if you should try to fit on your sleeve to make sure that it's fitting you well. So this is how my sleeve looks. Remember that we made 15. We made 15 slip stitch on this side. Then after that we made 20 half double crochet on this part. Then after that we made 5 slip stitch on this part. Then after that we made 20 half double crochets, 5 slip stitch, 20 half double crochets on this last part. We made 25 half double crochet. So after completing your sleeve, so this is my first sleeve and here it's another sleeve. So you should make 2 sleeves which have the same measurement, and they should have the same measurement. So after making the sleeves, you are going to join them together. So you are going to join the edges of the sleeve together. So this is how you are going to join them. Just attach the yarn on this end of the sleeve. So after attaching the yarn on this side, you just yarn over and pull. You just insert the hook on this stitch over here. Ensure that it goes through the last stitch on this other point. So just insert the hook on the both stitches on this side and the other side. Then after that, you're going to yarn over. So just pull through the yarn like that. Then after that, chain one. So we are going to join the edges of the sleeve using single crochets. So ensure that the hook passes through the 2 stitches on this side and on the other side. So ensure that it passes through the 2 stitches. Then after that, grab the yarn, and after that make a single crochet. So just repeat that until you complete joining the entire sleeve, and after that join the other sleeve. Then after that, I'll be there to show you what to do next. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So this is the back panel of the piece of the sweater that I'm making. So to make this back panel, I chained 100 stitches, and after chaining 100 stitches, the first 15 stitches I made slip stitch. Then onto the rest of the stitches I placed half double crochets on them. So after that, you just repeat placing half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches and placing slip stitch on the back loop of previous stitches until your back panel looks like this. So let's take the measurement to find out the width of my back panel. So the width of my back panel is at 16 inches. So to make the back panel and the front panel, first thing, take the measurement of your waist size. For example, my waist. So to make the front panel, we'll be using the back panel to make the front panel. So the first thing that you are going to take is counting the number of rows that you have made. Then after that, you are going to find a place where the neck will be lying to. So I'll be counting mine from this side and this side to find out where the neck should lie. So then after that, we will be making the front panel. So I've already counted my rows and I've determined where my neck should be lying on this sweater. So I've counted 13 rows. So this is how I've counted my rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've placed a stitch mark on this ridge over here. Then also on the other side I've counted 13. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've placed my crochet hook on this side. So this means that I'll be crocheting 13 rows. So remember, those are double rows, so you can say 13 times 2 to get 26 rows. So I'll be making 26 rows. 26 rows. Then after that, that's the point where I will be making the neck part on the front panel. So just count the number of rows and determine where your neck should be lying. So let's make the front panel So first thing we'll be making those 13 rows. Then after that we'll be making the neck part. I've just completed making the first 13 rows of the front panel. So let's count the 13 rows. So this is my first row, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm almost completing the 13 row. So this will be my 13 row. Remember, I'm at the lower part of this sweater. So I'll be counting 10 stitches from this part, then I'll be counting 10 stitches, then on the 10th stitch I'll be placing my stitch mark over there. So just count 10 stitches and place your stitch mark on the 10th, on the 11th stitch. Then after that I'll be showing you what to do next. So I've placed my stitch mark on the 11th stitch. So this is after counting 10 stitches from this part up to here. So this is my 10th stitch and this is my 11th stitch. I've placed my stitch mark on that stitch over there. So after that we'll be repeating the half double crochet on the back loops of the stitches until you reach the point where you have placed your stitch mark. So just repeat half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches until you reach the point where you have placed a stitch mark. Then after that I'll be showing you what to do next. So I've reached the point where I've placed my stitch mark. I'm going to remove my stitch mark like that. Then after that I'll be placing the last half double crochet on this stitch over here. Then after that, so this is the point where we'll be ending rows and starting new rows. So this will be the point where we'll be ending the rows and starting new rows. So we are going to chain 2, then turn our work around and just yarn over and place a half double crochet on this first stitch over here. Then repeat placing a half double crochet. Just continue repeating half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches until you complete this row. So let me show you how many rows you are going to start from that point and ending them on that point. So the reason why you are doing this is to make the neck part of this sweater. So just repeat half double crochets. And on this point where you had placed the slip stitch, we continue placing the slip stitch on those stitches. Then when you reach on this point, you will be completing a row, then starting a new row from this point. So remember the back panel that we made, we counted 13 rows from this side and also we counted 13 rows from that side. So to make the neck part, we'll be counting the rows that are in between here. So let's count them together. So this is my first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row, sixth row, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12. So meaning we'll be making 12 rows of decrease. So we'll be making 12 rows. So let me show you. So remember this point of making the neck part. So we'll be making this for the next 12 rows. So the rows that I've shown you on this back panel of this other part of the sweater. So repeat this for the next 12 rows. Then after that, I'll be there to show you what to do next. And remember, this is the point where we'll be starting and ending the rows. So just repeat that for the next 12 rows. Then I'll be there to show you what to do next. I've completed making the 12 rows on this point. So after that, we'll be making the other shoulder part on this side. So we'll be making this on the other side. So what we'll do, we will increase this row by 10. So after completing the row, you just chain 10 stitches. So just chain 10. So this is my first stitch, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then after chaining the 10 then after chaining the 10 stitches, you add one more stitch. So skip this first stitch that is holding the hook, then skip this first stitch over here. So just skip this stitch on here. Then after that, place half double crochet on the first stitch and on the rest of the stitches. So just place a half double crochet in each and every stitch up to the lower point where you have made the slip stitch, and make the slip stitch on the stitches that you had made the previous slip stitch. So just repeat half double crochet on this side, and when you reach on this point, you'll be placing the half double crochet on the back loops of the previous stitches. Then also here you'll be repeating the slip stitch on the back loop of the previous stitches. Then after ending the row, you start a new row by placing you start a new row. Then when you reach on this point, you make sure that you end a row on this point over here, and you start new row on this point over here. So this is to make a similar part that looks like this one. So just repeat this for the next 13 rows that you have made on this side. Make sure this part and this part, they are equal. So just repeat that. Then after that, I'll be there to show you what to do next. So this is how my front panel looks. You should have something like this. It's forming this pattern over here. So after completing making the back panel and the front panel and also making the strips, we are going to join the pieces together, and this is the pattern, and this is how we are going to join these pieces together to form a sweater. So let me show you that pattern, then after that I'll be showing you on what to do next. So this is how we are going to join the pieces. You should arrange the pieces like I've done. So you first thing, place your stitch mark on this side. Then after that, we'll be joining the back panel and the front panel until you reach on this point. So you can use single crochets or a needle. So yesterday as I was trying to join the sleeves, I used the single crochet, but it was a bit difficult for me. The reason why I used the crochet or the hook to make the single crochet is that I never had a needle. So I would advise you to use a needle so that it can't be a bit difficult for you. So we'll be joining the pieces together. First join the front panel and the back panel together. Then after that, you can join the sleeves. So also remember to join this part up to this part. So join from this point up to this point, and also on the other side, and don't forget to join the sleeve. So joining the pieces is the most simplest thing to do. So just join, then after that we'll be making the neck of this sweater, and we are almost done. So keep on. So this is how my sweater looks after joining the pieces together. Here are my sleeves. I really like them. Then after that, we'll be making the neckline of this sweater. So first thing, attach your yarn at the back, on the center of the back of this part. So just find out where the center is lying. Then after that, attach the yarn. Then after attaching the yarn, I will be telling you what to do next. So after that, you just insert the hook on this stitch over here, then pull through the yarn, and after that repeat a row of single crochet. So you just be placing a single crochet in each and every stitch. So just place single crochets until you complete this round. Then after that, I'll be showing you what to do next. So just place single crochet in each and every stitch. Then after that, I'll be here to show you what to do next. So please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So this is how my sweater looks after completing one row of single crochet. So I'm going to complete this row. So what you are going to do, you are just going to slip stitch onto the first stitch over here to complete this row. So what you are going to do, just pull through the yarn, then after that make a slip stitch. So after making the slip stitch, you are going to chain 20 so as to make the neckline of this sweater. So chain 20, 1 2 2 3 4 5 6 7. So after chaining the 20 stitches, you are going to chain one more stitch. Then after that, you are going to make slip stitch on we are going to make slip stitch on each and every stitch. So make a slip stitch. So first thing, skip the first stitch that is holding the hook. Then after that, place slip stitch in each and every stitch. So ensure that the slip stitch are a bit loose so that it can't be difficult for you while making the second row and the other row. So just slip stitch onto the next stitches. So slip stitch until you complete this row, until you are almost to complete this row. Then after that, I'll be there to show you what to do next and ensure that you don't tighten a lot the slip stitch. So I've completed making slip stitch in each and every stitch. So what you're going to do next, just skip the first stitch over here. So skip this stitch over here, then onto the next stitch, slip stitch so as to complete a row. Then after that, slip stitch onto the next stitch to start a new row. So what you'll do, you skip the first stitch over here, then after that slip stitch onto the first stitch to end this row, then slip stitch again onto the next stitch to start a new row. Then after that, we are going to turn our work around. Turn your work around, then remember to skip these two first, to skip this two slip stitch that you have made. So skip the first two slip stitch that you have made, then onto this stitch over here we are going to place a slip stitch. So ensure you place a slip stitch on the back loops of the previous stitches until you complete all the stitches. So repeat that until you complete this row. Then after that, I'll be there to show you what to do next. So I'm remaining with two stitches to complete this row. So I'm going to place a slip stitch on this second last stitch over here. Then after that, I'll be placing a slip stitch onto this last stitch over here. Then after that, chain one, turn your work around. So after completing making a row of slip stitch, you are going to chain one. So chain one, then turn your work around. So let me see if I've already chained one. So just chain one, then turn your work around. So we'll be placing, just place a slip stitch onto this first stitch over here. So we are going to make a slip stitch, then onto the rest of the stitches also we are going to make slip stitches. So remember to place the slip stitch onto the back loops of the previous stitches. So repeat this until you complete this row, then I'll be there to show you how to attach this which you are making right now with the other part, with this lower part. So I've completed making this row of slip stitch. So what you are going to do next is attaching the row of slip stitch onto these other stitches. So what you are going to do, skip the first stitch, which is this one, then slip stitch onto the next two stitches. So we are going to skip this stitch over here, then slip stitch onto this first stitch to end the row, then slip stitch again onto the next stitch to start a new row. Then after that we are going to skip these two stitches that we have already slip stitch, and then start slip stitching onto this third stitch, then also slip stitch onto the rest of the stitches. So just slip stitch onto the rest of the stitches until you complete this row. So repeat that until you complete this round. Then after that I'll be there to show you what to do next. So remember that you're slip stitching onto this stitch, then to attach the stitches on this lower part of the neck, we are going to skip the first single crochet that you made, then slip stitch onto the next two single crochets that you made. Then after that you are going to turn your work around, then skip the two slip stitch that you have made, then start a new row from the third slip stitch. So repeat that until you complete this round. Then after that I'll be there to show you how to join the neckline of this sweater. So we are almost completing this tutorial, so just keep going. After making the neckline, this is how my sweater looks. So I've completed all the single crochet that were on the lower part. So I'm going to join the edges of this neckline together, and I'll be using a needle. So let me look for my needle. So I'll be using a needle to join this piece together. So just use your needle. Then after that, that is it. Hope this tutorial was helpful. So let me join these pieces together, then after that I'll be showing you how my sweater looks. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any question you can just ask on the comment section and I'll be there to answer you. So I'm just going to join the pieces. Then hope this tutorial was helpful. I'll see you on my next video. So I've completed making the entire sweater. So the last thing that we'll be doing is sewing in the yarn. So you can just cut off the yarn, or you can just burn the yarn. You can just cut off the yarn, or you can burn the yarn using a matchstick. So that is it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really like this sweater. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I promise you my next tutorial will be better than this one. So just subscribe so that you can't miss